I will call the meeting to order. This is a regular school board meeting, the school district of the city of Harper Woods. It is February 24th. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It appears that we have all board members present. So item 4.0 on the agenda is the acceptance of the meeting agenda. We have a slightly revised agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
Motion.
Do I have support?
Support.
All in favor of accepting the revised meeting agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Motion passes 7-0. Item 5.0 on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which includes minutes from previous meetings, including the regular meeting for January 20th, our workshop meeting on February 4th. Item 5.2 is expenditure reports for January 2015. And item 5.3, personnel matters, including overnight travel for Andrew Hopkins to the Matt Cool Conference, Michael Mooney with his high school DECA team, and Lashana Beeman to the DECA State Conference. We have 2 recommendations for hire: Janelle Anderson as a lunch supervisor at Beacon, and Shina Moore as a paraprofessional at the high school. And then we have 4 resignations on our consent agenda, which include Mara Deutsch for our Spanish teacher for the high school, Suzette Taylor Perry, which is a Beacon lunch supervisor, Patricia Witcher, which is a Beacon lunch supervisor, and Brian Turk for middle school girls track team coach. Do I have a motion for approval? Pardon me? Is there any member that would like to have anything removed from the consent agenda? Any discussion regarding the consent agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Support? Anyone?
Support.
All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Those disapproving, say nay. Motion passes 7-0. On to 6.0, correspondence. Ms. Mahone, is there any correspondence?
Nope, no correspondence.
Thank you. And item 7.0 is district activities. I believe we're beginning with Beacon Elementary, which is you. Thank you.
Just for the board's information, Principal Gottlieb is meeting with parents for our elementary parent organization because our meeting today is not on the normal calendar, so there was a conflict.
So we rock, paper, and scissored it, and I'll let you decide whether I won or not.
You definitely won.
Thank you. All right, Beacon's board update. Penny for Patients Leukemia Drive. This is Beacon's community service project for the year. Their goal was to raise $500 to support finding a cure for this blood cancer so prevalent in children. Over 100 Beacon students will be participating in the Black History event Friday night. 3rd grade will be singing a spiritual song as well as sharing the friendship quilt they made. They will explain the significance of the quilt during slavery as a way to communicate with each other. 2nd grade will recite the ABCs of Black History. The students are very excited to show off for their families. Beacon participated in PD on February 13th. The staff spent the morning brainstorming and planning for the M-STEP test that is in May for the 3rd grade students. The afternoon was spent on engaged New York models. The work is ongoing to align and pace with the rigorous lessons. Bright Smiles continues to service students with free dental checkups. Over 120 students have received free checkups so far. They are returning one more time to fulfill the 220 applicants sent in. March in and register your fall kindergarten student. They are distributing registration packets the entire month from the Beacon office. Stop in or call at 245-5343. When completed packets are returned to the office, you will receive a free readiness kit. You will also be given an opportunity to schedule a visit to our K programs, an up-close and personal peek at an exciting world your kindergarten is in for next September. The new law requires students to be 5 years old by September 1st. Any questions? Okay. Would you like to hear Tyrone's now?
Yes.
Okay, Tyrone report. Tyrone's staff also participated in PD on the 13th. Very similar things that Beacon did. We spent a lot of time going over the M-STEP. For Tyrone, we have every student taking the M-STEP. It'll be 4th, 5th, and 6th, with 4th taking science, ELA, and math, 5th taking social studies, ELA, and math, and 6th taking math and ELA. So we spend a lot of time brainstorming how we're going to be prepared for that and get our students prepared, looking at the new testing items that the state continues to roll out. And then also the same type of thing in the afternoon, looking at our New York Engaged program and trying to figure out how we can better present the lessons and things to the students, as well as make sure we're covering all the Common Core. On Thursday, the Tyrone 5th and 6th grade band will be performing here at the secondary school at 7 o'clock. So make sure you come with a parent if you're a Tyrone student or a Beacon student. All parents and families are welcome. It starts at 7 o'clock in the auditorium. This Friday, Tyrone is having their Jump In fundraiser. This is to promote heart health for the month of February, which is the month they target for heart health. Students started working on jump rope routines and skills in January during their PE class, and in February, on the February, what date is that? Today's the 23rd or 26th. Students will be allowed to change into shorts and work as a team to jump rope for 1 solid hour to a variety of songs and with a variety of competitions. It's a great way to support their school through pledges they raise, as well as promote heart health. PBIS reward will be March 4th in the afternoon for the qualifying students, and this month's reward is board games. On March 5th, we have a magic show to kick off March's Reading Month. We have a variety of activities during the month to excite students about reading, including students being able to pick out one free book of their choice. They seem to really enjoy doing that. Third grade orientation is March 10th at 7 p.m. at the Tyrone Gym. We are excited to meet our new 4th grade students for the 2015-16 school year. The orientation is for both parents and students. Our 4th grade teachers will be there to say hello and answer any questions that the parents may have. I will be sending more information home specifically with the 3rd grade students as the date gets closer. And on March 12th, this is a Beacon Tyrone activity that we have going. March 12th from 6 to 8 o'clock at night, we have the Cranbrook Science Night for both Beacon and Tyrone students. More information will be going home with that. It really is a great event. If you haven't had a chance to come, staff is welcome to come. Bring their children. When we did the math one, we had a lot of staff with a lot of their own children coming. The science one is all hands-on science experiments that the kids are going to be participating in. I've heard great things from the schools that have had it, so we're really fortunate to have that. And again, that will be on March 12th from 6 to 8 o'clock at the Tyrone Gym. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Filbert for middle school.
Good evening, everybody. Like the elementaries, we just finished a spirited round of professional development at our school, again focusing on the M-STEP, using some of the materials that have already been released by the Michigan Department of Education to go ahead and sort of guide the practices that we want to make sure that we're doing, so that our middle school students will be best at, primed for success. So we spent pretty much the entire day getting ready for that, and I was really encouraged and pleased with the work that was done. So I want to give credit to the staff for working extremely hard on that day. I also want to give credit to the staff for our middle school snow coming event that just passed. Middle school celebrated snow coming February 4th through 6th. Students participated in some dress down days. We had a college day, a Harper Woods day, and then a color day. Each class was sort of assigned a color, and they got to show their spirit that way. The classes elected class leaders, and we celebrated the end of the event with a dance in the middle school gym on Friday, February 6th. I want to give a special thanks to Miss Amanda Lafferty, our 7th grade team leader, as well as our Honor Society sponsor, for going ahead and putting together the dance and making sure that it was a good time for everybody that was involved. So it was a lot of fun. Just yesterday, we had the Michigan Attorney General's office, Bill Schuette's office, come in to go ahead and present their OK to Say and cyber safety initiative, teaching kids about ways to go ahead and report about bullying or cyberbullying that they might witness going on, not only here in the school, but the community or at home, whatever the case may be, as well as go ahead and teach the students about their digital footprint, the idea that the things that they put online are there forever, and that it can go ahead and affect them later on in life when seeking college applications, seeking job applications, those sort of things. It was a really educational experience, and I want to thank the Attorney General's office for coming in and taking the time to speak with us. I think the kids really got a lot out of it. The National Junior Honor Society just got finished selling carnations for Valentine's Day, which was good to see them go ahead and raise a little bit of money that way. But just like Beacon, we're getting ready next week to go ahead and kick off our pennies, pasta for pennies, pennies for patients kind of thing going on as well for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So excited about that. It's always a pretty big fundraiser throughout our school, and the kids really get involved in going around and sabotaging other teachers and trying to go ahead and be the one class that stands out on top. So looking forward to seeing that as well. And then, of course, with final exams that just went past, our 7th grade students, this is a lot for a chance of them, for a lot of them, their first chance at getting a taste of what a final exam might be like. Looking over some of the results, pretty pleased with the way our 7th graders responded to taking, kind of a high stakes test, something that is a cumulative effect throughout the school year. So going ahead and looking at our students and the way that they're progressing and getting ready for those kinds of exams, it bodes well for us in the future, and looking forward to seeing those trends continue as well. So, any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Wilbur.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Ms. Collier.
Good evening. Our high school report is as follows. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, our 11th grade students are all charged up and ready to go to take their ACT and Work Keys exam. So we're hoping that they are successful. They've done many prep sessions. They've really worked hard. They've come early, stayed late, and really been working with Ms. Linhart and the rest of the 11th grade team. So we're hoping that the testing yields the results from the work effort that they put forth. As Mr. Filbert said, we had a cyberbullying assembly on Monday, which went fairly well. Our goal is to do follow-up as the high school staff to make sure that they really have the message sunk in. We've had a number of instances in the news where cyberbullying and cyber activities have yielded great consequences for children and other young adults. So we want to make sure that our students know we aren't just giving idle threats and that it is a serious offense. So we're planning to do some activities in their advocacy group with regards to a follow-up to the assembly for the high school students. We have the Black History Program, as has already been stated. The high school has 5 acts that will focus on the Harlem Renaissance. We are having an hour of code on the 12th of March. We are going to have approximately 20 students who will participate in a special activity, learning how to do computer coding, HTML, and an additional program. And so there'll be video and photography taken to document their experience, and then Mr. Rabideau will be able to use that footage in our our technology and media fair launch. We are preparing to send a group of approximately 30 students on a college tour over spring break. Ms. Collier will not be on the bus, but I will meet the students in Atlanta. It will be April 5th through the 10th, and we are going to follow our criteria for students who can participate in the activity. So they have to be students that have worked on their academics, students who have not had but have had behavior challenges, so on and so forth. We want it to be an enjoyable trip, so we certainly don't want to send students who will put a sour taste in the mouth of the chaperones and other staff who are going on the trip. The current itinerary is for the students to visit Emory University, Georgia Tech, the University of Georgia, Clark Atlanta, and then the girls will visit Spelman and the boys will visit Morehouse. We have some of the Pan-Hellenic sororities and fraternities arranged to meet with them. They will meet with the Dean of Students. They will meet with athletic departments at 2 of the universities. And we have some fine dining experiences included. They will also go to the aquarium. They're going to go to the underground mall and do all kinds of fun things that Atlanta has to offer along with the college excursion. So we are hoping for that to be an enjoyable and well-rounded trip for our sophomores and juniors. With our partnership with General Motors, we are working to find our 10 interns for the summer program. So again, we have a criteria that we will follow, students who are going to support the program and, just kind of yield us in the best light. They have a number of things that they must be able to do in order to be interns. They actually go through a drug test. They have to have all of their naturalization documentations in place, so birth certificates, social security cards, and things of that nature. I do know that a couple of our students were unable to furnish those documents, so we've been working with 2 of our parents whose children want to potentially be participants to get those documents in place. So for those families who want to participate, we will submit the list of the names of students to be interviewed for the positions by March 20th. Our students are going to have the opportunity to also do an overnight stay with Oakland University in March or April. We are waiting for Oakland University to come back with the dates that they are going to do the cohort group. The idea behind the Oakland University overnight stay is we will have a cohort of students who meet and do social action, conversations, and share dialogue, go back, do work in the community, and then reconvene and kind of share dialogue and exchange and see changes that they were able to implement, and just kind of establish a networking group amongst three other metro area high schools. So that's a partnership that we are establishing through a company called the Greatness Camp. And so that effort, we have the United Way to thank for that. Congratulations to our girls basketball team for their win against Hamtramck this evening. And we also did a staff development where our teams worked on alignment across the board, making sure that the ICANN statements aligned with the expectations of Common Core. We focused on release of teacher responsibility and allowing the students to start to take ownership, do demonstrations and hands-on activities throughout the lessons and throughout the units. We worked on planning and aligning units for the coming school year, also reviving some of our curriculum documents that we began work on last year, but lost momentum. And so from meeting with IRE and kind of being able to establish what it is we want our students to know, what it is we think is valuable for them to have hands-on and applicable training, what lessons we think need to be addressed, as well as the literature selections for the English Language Arts Department. So that's the work that we've been doing in the high school. Any questions?
Ms. Collier?
Yes.
What are the plans for ACT? And I only ask because I remember last year staff members knocking on doors when kids didn't show up.
So we do have our rogue group prepared, ready to make phone calls home and go and go and retrieve our students, because we do want our numbers to represent our student body with regards to the work that they put in. So any of our students that we find are not here by the time, 20 to 30 minutes before, we will take roll and get an assessment of how many students we have, and we will go and retrieve them, we will call them, we will pull them out of bed, we will contact parents.
Okay.
We're ready.
So just to reiterate for any parents that may pick up the meeting this week, what are the days of the test?
The test is next Tuesday and next Wednesday, and the dates are the 3rd and 4th.
Yes.
And are there any special times that they have to be here early? Are we doing breakfast for them or anything?
So they will get their snacks and drink before they take the test. On the 3rd, the only people who will be in the building will be the 11th grade students. So they will test from the morning till approximately 1:30. We're expecting all of the tests to culminate by 1:30. And then on the 4th, the 9th, 10th, and 12th graders will have a late start date, and I do believe that start is 11:20.
So Principal Collier, just for clarification, when you say in the building, you mean in the high school?
In the high school.
The middle
The
school
middle-
will be
middle school is
operating
still
under
in
its
session.
normal schedule?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And last question, for the groups that are going on this field trip to Atlanta, is there fundraising going on? How is that being paid for?
A great deal of it is discretionary funds through the United Way. We do think that for the fine dining experience, it may end up being a cost of $1,000, but that covers them being able to go to fine dining at 3 separate restaurants. And the one fundraiser that we do have potentially in place when we have our final meeting with United Way to discern if we have to come up with additional funds will be Katie Diz. It's something we can sell quickly, it's something that we'll have readily available, and it can just, the exchange of the product and the funds will be a quick return. We didn't want to do anything that would be cumbersome for the students or the families, so we know that that's an easy sale for the students as well as the families. So Katie Diz is the fundraiser that we're going for if we have to generate funds.
So anybody that comes across a Harperwood student selling Katie Diz, they should buy some.
Or 3.
3. All right, that's all I have. Any other questions?
Any others?
And last on district activities is 7.5, which is our technology open house. I believe Mr. Rabideau is going to speak to that.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
We are very fortunate in Harper Woods to have a board that consistently demonstrated a deep commitment to technology for our students and staff. As a result, our district standard for classroom technology far exceeds many, if not most, districts across the state of Michigan. And just a quick review, every classroom in this district has an interactive board, document cameras, digital document cameras, projectors, and of course the big one, a device for every student, again, in every classroom across this district. So thank you to the board for that continued commitment. And I like to put it this way, the state is following your lead in also supporting us in our pursuit of technology. They reminded last spring they approved some additional funding through the SIG grant, which allowed us to put into place more devices for classrooms. But our crown jewel here, the Multimedia Digital Production Lab, that provides our students with cutting-edge equipment and software in graphic design, live broadcast production, 3D imaging and printing, music composition, recording, digital photography, drone camera technology, and I'm sure I've left some other things off the board. It's a premier state-of-the-art facility, so we're pretty excited about it. On March 13th, from 5 to 7, it's Friday the 13th, 5 to 7, it'd be an honor if you would join us as the students share with the community all the learning that's taking place in our district, thanks to the unprecedented technology that they have at their disposal. So it'll be sort of a joint thing. One, to unveil the multimedia lab up here in the high school, but also a district-wide tech open house showing all the technology that's going on across the district. So some examples of that are students from Beacon, Tyrone, middle school and high school will be demonstrating things such as Lego robotics, Minecraft for the classroom. Let's see if any of the younger kids were listening. That was very popular. Computer coding, digital photography and editing with Photoshop, All of these we offered last summer during our enrichment program, and we're anticipating doing the same thing coming up this summer as well. They'll also be demonstrating our drone cameras. They'll be flying around in the gym, and my hope is that guests can take a spin and fly them around. We'll be trying out our live production studio. I see some drone cameras are the ones that fly around. You use an iPad, you can pick them up and they have a video camera on them. Steady cams, you put a harness on and you can run around with the camera and it is nice and smooth, it doesn't bounce around. Our robotics team at the secondary campus will also be there with their robot to show off what they're doing. And again, I'm sure I've left some off because we have quite a bit going on. So the cool thing too is the following week, a lot of the staff and students that are presenting at March 13th are going to McCall Conference at Cobo Center the following week. This is the holy grail of tech in the state of Michigan, and I would say in the Great Lakes region. So we have a number of staff that were chosen to present what they're doing here in our district to this large conference. About 4,000 or 5,000 attendees go to this conference every year. Students are going as well. They will be presenting. I think Beacon and Tyrone students are presenting at McCall also. So pretty exciting. So again, that's Friday, March 13th from 5 to 7. I want to invite the board, Harperwood School District families, community, and families that live in Harper Woods but have chosen to not yet enroll their students in Harper Woods. Come on out and see what we're doing in this district. I think you'll be impressed. It should be a great evening. I hope to see you all there.
Is this at the high school?
It is, yes, it'll be out in the Commons area. We'll actually have the Commons with all sorts of examples of technology. The live broadcast studio will be up on the stage in the auditorium. The gym will have the drones flying around, and then we'll also use the multimedia lab, which is the the older computer lab that we've now converted back to the multimedia lab.
And Charles will be feeding us.
Chartwells will be providing food for the events.
Oh, great.
Any questions?
It's great news, Mr. Rabbit.
Yes, it's pretty exciting.
Thank you, Mr. Rabbit.
Thank you.
On to item 8.0, which is our student spotlight. Rasul Abdur Rahim.
In our swimming competition.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Coach Mike Bell, and this is Rasul.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening,
I'm here to report that we've had, thanks to the board, funding and approving a girls and boys competitive season. We had a very successful girls as well as boys season. Thanks to the support of Mr. Henry and Ms. Collier, we had a wide-ranging season. We participated in downriver leagues. We competed against Redford Union, Redford Thurston, Dearborn High, and Dearborn Edsel Ford, as well as the Detroit Public School League. We started out with a team of about 5. Our most successful swimmer of the season was Rasul. Rasul represented Harper Woods in the county meet, where he placed 30th and 27th out of 200 kids in 202 events. And he also won the Detroit Public Schools League Championship. He finished first overall in the 200 IM, which is the race where they swim all 4 strokes consecutively. He placed first in that, as well as first in the 100-yard butterfly. His times dropped tremendously throughout the season. I'd like to once again acknowledge Rasul and his hard work for everything that he's done. He represents the school with honor, dignity, and class. Good job. Good job.
Stay where you are. I believe Mr. Biederwolf has something to say.
So, Rasul, we heard Coach Bell speak to I think it was the 200-yard medley, and we heard him speak about 4 different swimming strokes that are embedded in that particular event. Can you tell us what those 4 strokes are?
The first stroke is butterfly, and you swim each stroke 2 times. So you go down for 1 and back. And the first stroke is butterfly, the second stroke is backstroke, the third is breaststroke, and usually last is freestyle.
Okay. What would you consider of the 4 to be your strongest stroke?
Butterfly.
Okay. And that's typically a very difficult stroke to master, I believe.
Yes.
Good. So you feel like you've gotten some good instruction from your coaching staff. And I see we've got our other coaches here, Ms. Gore and Ms. Griffin as well. So thank you for being here to support your student athlete as well. So how about those grades?
Good.
Okay, what's good mean? What colleges are you interested in? What careers might you be considering?
I'm planning on majoring in aerospace engineering.
Oh, very good.
I've been accepted to University of Michigan Flint, Wayne State, Alabama A&M, and a couple of other colleges.
Very nice, very nice. And you've got some of your family here. Would you introduce your family to the board, please?
My mother, Natalie Barmore, and my sister, Amina Abdurrahim.
Okay. Thank you very much. So before I turn it over to the board for some of their thoughts and/or remarks, certainly 2 or 3 years ago, the board, kind of challenged the administration and the district that we've got a wonderful facility. I'm trying to think of that more sophisticated, we talk in our classrooms about utilizing, academic language, and if we're going to have elite student athletes, then we may need to start changing our terminology. It's a natatorium, I believe, is the more sophisticated representation of a swimming area. Do I have that right, Coach Bell?
Yes, you do.
All right, so we may have to, kind of up our language here as I see that the performance of our students is headed to elite levels. So for those in the house, we're going to have to stop referring to it as the pool and start referring to it as the natatorium, I believe. So, Rasul, I know you to be exactly what it is that we're celebrating tonight, a student athlete, and I really appreciate and respect the balance that you bring. Thank you for representing Harper Woods Schools so well, and thank you for representing yourself so well. Best wishes going forward.
Thank you. Did the board want to? Yeah.
Yes, Russell, I want to congratulate you on your job that you did for the swimming. I think that was excellent, and I've heard so far everyone keeps saying your first name. Can you step to the mic and say your full name for the public?
Russell Abdurrahim.
Okay. That way everyone knows who this outstanding young man is. Good.
Very nice.
And anything else from the board?
Are you a senior?
Yes.
Very good. Good luck. I have a son and a grandson who are aerospace engineers. You can do it.
I like that phrase.
And I've seen you swim before, and you absolutely are something to make Harper Woods proud. So good for you, and follow your dreams. And here's a certificate from the board, okay?
Mr. Rabideau, tech team.
Okay, there we go.
Congratulations again. Congratulations, coaches.
Yeah, and I did mean to thank Coach Lanita Griffin and Coach Margaret Gore. We worked on this as a team. I couldn't have done it without them. Support once again to the family members, the school board. Mr. Jimmy Henry, thank you for everything that you did for us. Ms. Collier, thank you for your support in getting him to the county meet and everything else that you all did behind the scenes to make this a successful year for swimming at Harper Woods, both the boys and the girls season.
Good job, you guys.
We're on the move, Coach.
We are on to 9.0, which is public participation regarding action items. Does the public have anything to say regarding the action items on our agenda? Hearing none. We will move on to 10.1, which is the second reading of our bylaws and policies and adoption. Let me read that. Hold my page. recommended motion reads that the Board of Education approves the second reading of adoption of policy 5200, attendance. Is that it? Oh, yeah, no, I got it. I think there wasn't a second or a third though. Just that one. Okay. Do we have a motion to support? Oh, I mean, a motion. Support, Angela. And it is attendance policy 5200, 5230, and 5460. Mr. Biederwolf, if you would like to address those, they're pretty important.
I appreciate that, Madam President. Thank you. So, as the board is well aware, these have been some policy revisions that they have been working on in recent months. In fact, these are very significant policy revisions. And the first two of them, Policy 5200 and Policy 5230, which is late arrivals and early releases, late arrivals being tardiness, and early releases being, in essence, not having completed the full day of school, we believe are very, very important policies. I'd like to accolade my administrative team. This recommendation that came from the administrative team to the board really was led and facilitated by our building-based principals in partnership with and support of their teaching staff. Here's what we know that employers say. Employers say that they want and they need and they must have staff members who report to work each and every day and who get there on time. And I'm very appreciative of the support and the leadership that the board has provided, in particular to these two important items. The board is aware that we've had some conversation at a workshop with Judge Palmer. I have subsequently been contacted by the city attorney. That was facilitated by Judge Palmer. And here's the word here in Harper Woods Schools. We expect our students to attend school at least 95% of the time. And in asking students to attend 95% of the time, the fact of the matter is that a student can still be absent 9 days a year and meet that 95% threshold. So it's a significant policy, but in no way, shape, or form is that an unreasonable policy. Successful adults are not absent from their jobs 9 days a year typically. And so that's the word. The word is that in Harper Woods Schools, we expect you to be here 95% of the time, which means that you can have no more than 9 absences in a year. And if you begin to approach 9 absences or begin to pass that rate, we're going to be interacting with you, we're going to be interacting with your parents, we're going to be seeking parental leadership, and we're going to be asking parents to partner with us in helping to build the character trait of regular and consistent attendance. It will be required, should the board approve this policy, and I hope that they will, that students attend at least 90% of the time, which means that a student has up to 18 absences that is allowable. That is a significant number of absences still, and if a student exceeds that number, we are going to engage with governmental agencies, we are going to use district resources, and we are going to up the expectations and the pressure on both our students and on their parents. Successful people come to work, come to school, report to their job, and meet their responsibilities consistently. And by this action, the Board of Education is sending a strong message that good attendance matters and that good attendance is expected in Harper Woods schools. And the second of these two policies then, Policy 5230, the one that addresses tardiness, is simply part of it. If you're meeting your responsibilities, then you're not only here, you're also here on time. And so that policy will establish that should students be late to school on a patternistic basis, I believe the number is that 4 tardies will then be equivalent to 1 absence, and so we will build those counts together and merge them together. We need and we expect our students to improve in their rate of attendance. And then the third of these significant policies that's currently before the board for your consideration is a revision in policy 5460. And again, it's a significant revision because 5460 is the policy by which the board establishes the graduation requirements for all students from Harper Woods schools. And in this particular case, the Michigan legislature has authorized some local control. A local board of education now has the authority to grant for high school graduation PE credit to students who consistently participate in athletics and extracurricular activities, in particular band. And so a student who participates in a varsity athletic sport, the same sport, for 2 or more consecutive years will now be granted their physical education here in the district. And likewise, a student who participates in the first semester in band, including participating in marching camp, will also, pending the board's approval, be granted or have earned the physical education credit that is required for graduation. And so we've brought those policies forward for, for the board's consideration. And again, I really want to accolade the board's leadership on these important policies and the leadership of my administrative team as well.
Thank you, Mr. Biederwood. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion regarding attendance and graduation requirements, say aye.
You gotta do 3 separate motions, Jill.
Oh, sorry. All those in favor of, I did attendance already.
Right, no, you need approval for attendance.
Yeah, I did it.
That's what's on the table now.
You're saying take action?
Take action on that.
Yes. All those in favor of approving item 10.1, which regarding attendance, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposing, say nay. Motion passes 7-0. All those approving item 10.1.2 regarding late arrivals and early releases, 5230, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes 7-0. All those in favor of item 10.1.3, which is graduation requirements. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposing say nay.
Nay.
Item passes 6-1. On to item 10.2, which is summer school fees. Mr. Biederwood, we had a pretty spirited discussion about that as well.
Indeed, again, I think a significant policy change pending the board's support here in the district. And so in this particular item that's before the Board of Education at this time, we are recommending that the district pilot for the upcoming summer 2015 time period, the implementation of some summer school fees. And I think it's very important that our parents and our community understand that these fees are not associated with programs that would be characterized as enrichment. These fees are specifically and exclusively aligned with programs that are academic in nature and part of our core curriculum, where students have already been provided the opportunity to master this required learning and the opportunity to successfully meet their academic requirements. So these fees are exclusively associated with academic program that could be characterized, if you will, as a second chance. And what it is that we're trying to do here is we're trying to send messages and reminders to both our students and our parent community that you don't always get second chances. You have to take advantage of the first opportunities that you have in most instances if you're going to be successful. And so to kind of, carry a little bit of hurt, if you will, as a reminder that you can't always wait for that second chance. There's going to be some modest financial costs that are going to be embedded in some of our elementary and secondary programming. Again, those costs are exclusive to academic programs where students have already had a first opportunity to be successful at no cost. And so the thought is that since providing a second opportunity comes at a cost to the district, it will therefore also on a pilot basis for this upcoming summer come at a cost for the families. And so in our elementary programs, if you are working to complete your academic program, to avoid being retained in the current grade, that will be $75 per opportunity with a $200 maximum per family. And at the secondary level, here it's credit recovery. It's students working, emphasis on working to earn the opportunity to remain on track for graduation. And here again, there will be some fees that will be imposed, $100 for the first course, $75 for the second, and $25 if a third course is needed as well, again with a maximum of no more than $200 for any one family. I think it's important that we understand that this is not, quote, a money grab from the district. This is about asking and needing and requiring our families to partner more strongly with us. We have too many students who are capable of being successful, but who are choosing not to be. And we've got to change that mind frame, and so we are. We're ramping up the pressure a little bit. We're asking parents to partner with us more strongly. When kids put forth a good faith effort, they will succeed. There's nothing wrong with our kids, but we do need to cultivate a greater commitment and a greater hunger to being academically successful on a consistent basis. And so we're on the move, and we're ramping up the pressure a little bit. And so, again, parents, we're seeking your support. We're seeking your partnership. And from the board, we're seeking your support in making this policy revision as well.
Thank you, Mr. Peterwolf. I don't believe I read the actual recommended motion or asked for support, so let me read that first. The Board of Education approves the attached proposal for the implementation of summer school fees for the 2015 summer school program. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion regarding the motion?
Yes. I see in the package where it says elementary fee schedule / rebate program, and also for the secondary fee schedule says secondary fee schedule / rebate program. So why does it say rebate program?
So I do apologize, Ms. Williams. My notes said that as the board discussed this item, that they were not in support of a rebate program. So that was a leftover item that was there from some previous documentation. You'll see in the language there is no language that speaks to a rebate program. Again, my notes indicated to me that the direction of the board as they discussed this item at the workshop was that they were not in support of a rebate program.
I thought that the board wanted to offer the rebate program on the elementary level because they didn't, it wasn't necessarily them not applying, it was them needing to catch up on the basic skills to take them to the next level, if I'm right, Ms. Strikovich.
There will be some students that will be recommended for summer school for that, yes.
So I do apologize that my notes were in error, and so if in fact it's the position of the board that the supporting documents are inaccurate, then I would suggest that someone make a motion to amend the recommended policy to include an elementary rebate program, and assuming then that the board supports that recommended amendment, we could proceed accordingly.
I would make a motion that the board amend the document and add an elementary rebate program.
Support.
Thank you, Joni.
And some clarification in terms of how much of a rebate would be available?
I believe that when we discussed it, we were saying that if the family attended the orientation meeting and came to all of the classes, they would receive $50 back.
Okay. Again, I do apologize that my notes were in error.
Okay, so the recommended motion would then read that the Board of Education approves the attached proposal for the implementation of summer school fees, revised to read a rebate for elementary.
So, Madam President, I think that protocol would be that you've received a motion and support for a revision. I think that that revision has to be approved, and then the revised motion itself approved.
Okay, so Joni supported the revision.
So that's on the table now.
Okay, so do I have, is there discussion regarding further, anything further regarding the summer school fees? Hearing none. All those in favor of the revised recommended motion, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes for the recommended revised motion. Do I need to conduct a roll call because it's revised?
No.
Okay, just check.
So now you've approved the revision, and so now you take action on all those approving the revised policy itself.
Repeat.
In essence, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we would like a roll call vote then regarding the revised.
No, you don't need a roll
I
call.
don't think you
No?
do.
No.
It's not required, but you can.
Okay, so why'd you say yes?
I apologize.
Okay.
Now I'm not having a good night.
You said yes, okay. On to item 10.3, which is?
No.
No?
No, you need to take action on the revised motion. So you had a board member make a motion to revise the motion that was supported. Now you have to ask the board to take action to support the revised motion itself.
So you're back to square one. So you're going to read that right there.
I'm rereading.
Yes, and then so we're back to square one with the revised adjustment that was
Got it.
proposed.
The
Yeah,
revised, which would be page 73.
Right, correct.
Yes.
Got it, okay. So I would like to ask, the recommended motion read that the Board of Education approves the attached proposal for the implementation of summer school fees for the 2015 summer school program. Do I have a? With the revision.
Program, correct.
With a rebate.
We're done with that. We're just voting now.
Yeah, that's what I thought, okay. Do I have a motion?
No, we're done with that.
No.
You're just calling for the vote now.
I did that, though.
No, just call for the vote. and then-
Okay. So all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes 7-0.
All good.
Who's blaming on Todd?
And thank you, board, for your clarification.
You're welcome.
Okay, on to item 10.3, which is recommended motion regarding a budget amendment 2. That the Board of Education approves the attached 2014-15 budget amendment 2. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Support.
Thank you. Todd, briefly.
Mr. Dennis, please.
Mr. Dennis?
I think one of the things that I like about the way these events have occurred tonight is you've heard some of the tremendous things that are going on in this district because of the solid financial position we're in. And the technology that Mr. Abbott spoke about for next Friday, some of which came about because of the grants, but some of it also came about because of, the things that have done by the supervision of the district. You heard about the success of our swimming program that was newly adopted because we're in such a good financial position. The original budget that was approved by the board for the 14-15 year had an increase in the fund equity originally of $130,653. In October, you were presented a revised budget amendment 1, which was approved, which mainly dealt because of the fall count and how that affected the revenue that was especially derived from the state, increased that projection to an increase of $328,000. And then, as we discussed 2 weeks ago at the workshop meeting, the budget amendment in front of you tonight is more of kind of a cleanup factor. Some of we had a little more solid numbers on some of the federal grants in particular, and we had a slight adjustment to the Affordable Health Care Act, and we're attempting to upgrade the district's behind-the-scene network. As such, the budget amendment that I'm proposing to you now still shows a fund increase for the year of an additional $313,000, which will take our fund balance at the end of the year, if everything plays out, to almost $2.4 million, which is 14.2% of our projected balance, which I can assure you 99.9% of the districts in the state would be ecstatic to have. We are in very good shape. We are able to offer the kids the best that we can possibly offer them, and I think it's due to leadership across the board, so I'm looking for your support. I will be providing you an additional, possibly a little more detailed as we get closer toward the end of the year in April, and then we'll do a final year-end to get about as true a picture as we can, as well as the 16-17, budget for next year, I'm sorry. But right now, what I'm presenting to you is looking at an increase in the fund balance of a little over $313,000. The detail is on page 76. Again, we discussed that after the workshop meeting.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion to support the budget amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes 7-0. Item 10.4, which is the creation of a new position at Tyrone. The recommended motion reads that the Board of Education approves the creation of a new position, math interventionist, as part of the support staff at Tyrone Elementary.
Motion.
Support.
Thank you. Mr. Biederwald.
So in this particular recommendation, kind of piggybacking on Mr. Dennis's remarks from the previous agenda item, when a district is performing well financially, then it creates the opportunities for the board to continue to invest in their schools and in the success of their students. So in this particular case, the board is well aware that mathematics remains a particular point of emphasis within the district. This particular staffing position would enable differentiated instruction to occur, some focused instruction in some areas where some students have been identified as not yet being at the successful at the level that they need to be. And so pending your approval, again, this would be another example of the board continuing to invest in their schools and bringing additional resources to support the success of their students and to support the success of their staff. So we seek your support.
Any further discussion from the board? All those in favor of the recommended motion to hire a Tyrone math interventionist, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes 7-0. And the last motion here is the recommendation to hire. The Board of Education approves the hire of Chris Cook as the Tyrone math interventionist as part of the support staff at Tyrone Elementary. I have a motion.
Motion.
Support.
Thank you. It's pretty easy.
Yes.
Mr. Peter.
So Ms. Cook has been a longstanding staff member. As Principal Prewster-Kevich points out in page 82 of her supporting recommendation, Ms. Cook has engaged in specific trainings over the summer to align with our new math curriculum, New York Engage, and so she has built a reputation of being good for kids. She's increased and enhanced her expertise in her training, and we look forward to the positive impact that she'll have on our students in mastering mathematics.
All those in favor of the recommended motion to hire Chris Cook as the Tyrone math interventionist, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes 7-0. 11.0 is subcommittee reports from the board. Any subcommittees have anything to report?
We did complete our superintendent evaluation process, and we're in the process of writing the evaluation, which we will discuss at the next meeting.
Thank you, Kelly. Anyone else? On to 12.0, which is Mr. Biederwolf.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate that. So we've got to transport ourselves for the next few moments, please. back to that new space here on the secondary campus that serves the not only Harper Woods schools, but the Harper Woods community. What's that facility that we used to call the pool now called? The natatorium. And last week, the natatorium was jumping because we hosted our first of what I hope is several annual cardboard boat regattas. And I think that I said that right. And so a cardboard boat regatta is kind of dipping your toe a little bit in that STEM area, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, because we had several of our student teams through our advisory classes to build boats out of cardboard and that most American of products, duct tape. And so there we were. The crowd was filling the stands of the natatorium, and we had our students in their what do you call those things when you're on your boats? Oh, yes, your life jackets. We have those. And they had their paddles and their oars in hand, and they were at the starting line, and the whistle blew, and the splashing commenced. And, well, we only had one boat sink, but most of our boats performed exceptionally well. And it was just so great to see our kids so highly investing in just a fun, somewhat educational, team-building opportunity. Our staff was highly engaged. We had teachers that were, meeting with kids to build the boats, in early evenings and buying pizza and doing all of those other kinds of things. And I tell you what, Principal Collier, I think next year we need a staff boat in that competition, and we'll show those kids how to float a boat, baby.
As long as it doesn't require the school administration.
It was just a great thing to see. A good time was had by all, and you know what? I think it's a great message to send. School's a great place to be. School's a fun place to be, and I think that in that process, kids learned, hey, you know what? When you structure things in the right way, some things that you never thought could float and hold not one, but two people in them simultaneously, made out of cardboard and duct tape, was a pretty impressive event to see. So thanks for all of our kids who led and supported that effort, and thanks to our students as well. Looking at our upcoming calendar, we've got some big events looming right around the corner. First, this Friday, February 27th, beginning at 6 o'clock, I think it's our 4th annual district-wide African American History Program. It's become a real marquee spotlight event. We celebrate an important component of our nation's history, and it's also an opportunity to put the spotlight on the multifaceted talents of a pretty significant number of the students that attend school here in Harper Woods. Again, that's this Friday, February 27th at 6 o'clock. I hope to see you there. ACT testing next week for our juniors, as Principal Collier spoke to. Again, parents, we need your help. Just a little less time on the phone, maybe a little less time with the video game, and maybe just a little more time, catching those Z's so the kids are well rested, sharp, and ready to represent themselves at their best at that very important college entrance exam. And then finally, just to reinforce Mr. Rabideau's content, our technology open house on Friday, March 13th, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, pardon me, right here on the secondary campus. Come on out, see how our kids are using technology to enhance their experiences and boost student achievement. We're on the move. There's a lot of things going on good in the woods, and you are an important part of that. Thanks for your participation, and thanks for your support of Harper Woods Schools.
Item 13.0, which is public participation. Anyone from the public has anything to say? Hearing none. Item 14.0 is matters of interest to board members.
The library has an event coming up tomorrow night. R.J. Spangler Trio and Larry Smith, who is a Detroit jazz sax player and apparently is quite renowned, but very frankly, I'm not too familiar with jazz, but I'm going to this. It is totally free. It's at 6:30 tomorrow night at the library in the basement. And this particular group is so good that the Michigan libraries are paying for him to make appearances at several libraries. And Harper Woods was granted this particular show. It will last 1 hour. So do come out if you can, bring the kids, have a good time. I'll be there. And I've got flyers. I'll give you a flyer. So that's it.
Thank you, Joni. Anything further from the board?
Yes. I'm very pleased to hear about all the wonderful things that's going on with technology within our school district, because we did have many conversations about funding and how to spend that money, and was hopeful that the teachers and the students and everyone was using that money appropriately and doing wonderful things. So it's very good to hear about all the wonderful things that's going on, and that we're going to be represented at the McCall Conference. Another thing, professional development is very important with both teachers and also as a school board member. So February 14th, Valentine's Day, when it was very snowy, very cold, I drove to Lansing to take part in a professional development opportunity given by the Michigan Association of School Boards. Because I'm dedicated and I believe in this job and believe in what we're doing up here, I took that time that weekend, instead of spending it with my husband like I wanted to go ahead and attend that conference. And it's a great way, a great professional development that, helps train school board members. So just want to let you know that, it's a wonderful opportunity being on the school board, but professional development is also very important. And it's good to get that additional training.
Anything further from the board? I just have one quick thing. A couple weeks ago, I believe it's been a couple weeks now, there was a family with 6 children here in our school district that unfortunately had a house fire. And my understanding is not much was left after that fire. My personal experience 10 years ago, a family member of mine, their house burned to the ground, and their daughter was at Tyrone. And within 48 hours, I don't know if there was walking room in your office there. There was just an outpouring of support and donations, whether it was a box of cereal or a blanket or a used pair of slippers. And it just, the feeling that came from that, when you have nothing, when you watch everything that you have burned to the ground, is, is a community feeling that you just can't replace. It's the reason I moved to this small community. So I'm going to ask anybody that, sees this to absolutely try and donate. Cheryl here has her office open. So if you want to drop something off or send something in with the kids, whether that be a box of cereal or a blanket. And I'm not sure, Ms. Collier, I didn't have a chance to speak with you today. Did you set up an account?
I set up a GoFundMe account, and that link I can share with you. It can be passed on to others. Many people in the community have already done that. At last I checked, we have 1,500 plus.
Okay. And there is a GoFundMe account as well. If you're not familiar with that, you can absolutely go online and donate money.
And the name of it is Harper Woods Family Fire.
And the name of the account is Harper Woods Family Fire. So if you go on GoFundMe.com and you go under that account, from what Ms. Collier says, there is about $1,500 in there, which is a great start, and I'm sure very appreciative of the family. So I just wanted to mention that if, as a community, we can all pull together and try and help this family that does have students ranging from high school to Beacon here in our district. That's all I have.
Can I add to that? Pastor Harville's church on Lockmore near Beaconsfield is taking in donations also. And when I dropped some stuff there, I think it was today, they have bags all over the place, so people are really responding well. But it's on Lockmore, close to Beaconsfield, and of course you cannot turn down Lockmore from Beaconsfield, so be aware of that. You have to kind of go roundabout.
Yeah.
But Pastor Harville has really a very good organization going at his church, and it's open noon to 6 every day, except they weren't open on Sunday.
Thank you, Joni. I believe that's all. We're adjourned. It's 8:24.